Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Tim's Garage. In this episode, we're tackling the fuel system. So we're going to be putting a new sender in the tank and also putting some new fuel lines in. So we're removing the fuel tank. So get this plate away. So we're just going to pull these two hose clamps off. There's some electrical connectors here covered in crazy amounts of mud. There's actually also an electrical connector here. I don't know if you can see it. Down in there. Need to get that off, and then we should be able to drop the tank from below. I think there's 4 bolts in the actual tank, and then there's a filler neck that we need to get rid of, and that should be it. Alright, so we removed the connector and the 2 pipes. Now we're going to go underneath and get rid of the bolts. The fuel tank here, so there's a plate under the tank. It's got 2 bolts, and then this one here is actually for the tank, so you can take this plate off first. There's also the fuel filler stuff up here, which I don't know if we can just get off. We might have to bring it out with it, but we'll see. We'll remove the 4 bolts for this plate. We're in the driver's side rear wheel well. We took a big cover plate off here that covers the fuel filler neck and the breather, so you just need to undo the 2 bolts for those. But actually we'd probably just take off these 2 hose clamps and then it will go out with the fuel tank. Alright, so we dropped the tray off the bottom, so I think there's just 2 more bolts it basically in the middle, on the sides, and that should drop the tank.
What could go wrong? Oh, Patrol Diff, shield me from the sin.
Keep going down. Keep going. Yeah, stop. There we go. Go down the whole way. Oh, so much mud. Just got coated in mud. Alright, there we go, guys. Drop the fuel tank out. We're just getting hung up on a breather over here. So this breather here was still attached just by some clips up on there. Even though we undid it, we just didn't see those clips. But that's it. Alright,
let's plan this. Where are we going to put it?
Oh, everywhere. I like how you just went with that. Well, there's not much in there to get everywhere. Yeah, just clean off the rust and stuff.
Yeah, let's have a look in there. It's actually really clean.
Yeah, they're diesel. As you can see, there's a bit of missing whatever this stuff is that they had on here. It feels, I don't know, textury, rubbery kind of stuff, but the diesel or something has actually made it all come off when I was wiping it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this body deadener stuff, and I'm just going to paint it on with a brush. Probably go over the whole thing, except for in here where the actual sender is going to go. As you can see, this stuff is pretty tarry, I guess, but it's, you know, nice consistency. So we're just going to put this on. I also cleaned it with methylated spirit, so hopefully you get some stuff off it. But I'm just going to paint it on. A pretty, probably thin-ish layer, but it should just cover it up and make it so there's no more bare metal. here we have the factory Commodore fuel sender. As you can see, one of these is snapped off. So I had to get a new one of these. So I bought it off eBay. So here's the new one. As you can see, there's 3 there. I have bent the fuel float a little bit. So this is the factory one. As you can see, it just doesn't go down as far as this one does. So, because before it was hitting the bottom of the tank. So now we should be all right with the travel. And as you can see, this is roughly the top of the tank. And so it's, you know, kind of up there. I mean, you don't really need to know how full of a tank it is, just need to know before you run out. So should do what I need. I'm going to use, it came with a new pump. It came with a new sock, but I don't know. This one I bought because I was going to use this fuel sender, but I wanted to actually put a new fuel sock on it because it was a little bit ugly. So I bought a new one, and that's this one, because it was this one was a lot better quality than the one that actually came with this pump. So I put that one on instead. But yeah, everything else is normal. It's got the regulator in there for pressure. It's got the charcoal canister stuff. It's a 4-pin wire, which is the factory Commodore one. Except I don't actually have the little piece of wiring. There's about 2 feet or a foot of wire that goes from this to the actual harness, but I don't actually know where that is. So I got a little connector. I'd probably have to extend the harness anyway, so it's kind of good. I can just make them as long as I want, so that's all right. And now we're just going to test fit it in the tank. We're going to put the fuel pump in. First, we need to put the factory seal in there, and then I'm going to get a little bit of silicone. Well, should I? No. I'm not actually going to put silicone between those 2 plates because it doesn't really need it. There's a factory seal in there. So now I know where this needs to line up, and also that means it's the top. So I'm just going to get this silicone gun, put a little bit just around the inside edge here. Without getting it everywhere, I'm going to put her in. There, you just have to make sure we don't accidentally catch the float on anything. Need a rag. Alright, I can tell that the float's all good in there. Squish him on a bit. Alright. And I think that's the only silicone I'm going to put on there. So what you need to do is to make sure this they stay lined up, which the silicone should hold it. Let me put that guy on there. Top plate on. Which for some reason doesn't feel like it's sitting nicely on there. I think I would have tested this beforehand. Does he feel any nicer? There. There. Alright. It's going that way. I did test fit it a little bit, but clearly I didn't bolt it down the whole way. Just making sure that it's in a good spot. And we're going to run down these bolts. nicely in there now. Looking pretty good, nice and flush. And that's it, now she's ready to go back in the car. As you can see, we've got the tank in. We've currently got 2 lines hooked up there, just the feed and return. And we've also got a connector here that we have to put the wiring in. So I'm just gonna make a temporary little harness for it, just so we can start the car, because I don't actually know how long it has to be. Because it has to come right to the back door basically, and it's gonna have to go under the floor somewhere. Coming down from the tank, so the tank's back here. These are 2 lines here, that's one. There's another one over here, so that's the feed, goes through the pump, returns back to the pump with a pressure regulator, and then this is the actual feed going out. So that's the factory lines up there where they come to the tank, except my fuel lines were coming out best to be up here. So that's where they're going now, and then we just cut the actual line. So up the top there, you can kind of see it where we cut it. I still have to like rebend this nicely and get covered in mud, and also put this guy so he's kind of up out of the way, but he should be fine up there. I mean, there's brake lines and stuff through here, there's a breather back there, so it's not like it's going to get hit by the diff or anything, especially with extended shocks and springs. And up here we have the actual feed line, so this is where it goes into the rail here with just a quick connector, goes around and comes up from down in there. There's a hose clamp, and that's the actual hard line from the factory Patrol's fuel system. So we flushed it out, got all the diesel out, and yeah, now it's all good. So here we have the new connector I got for the fuel pump, and we just currently have some just a little bit of line on there. We've already actually test-fired the motor and it worked perfectly. We did have the positive and negative for the fuel pump around the wrong way, but that wasn't too hard to figure out. So I'm going to show you how I'm just going to wrap this harness. This is the fuel pump wiring. So as you can see, it had a lot of other things. So this was stuff like radio and everything else, interior lights, doors, you know, everything in the Commodore came through basically these 2 plugs. And then these 3 go to the pump. So one is the power for the pump, and then it's a little bit further down here we have, I don't know, some weird junction box that has a ground sticking off it. So that's the actual ground for the pump all the way down here, and then it turns to 4 wires that goes all the way down the other end that's falling off the table to the actual plug for the pump. So these 2 connectors are normally really far away. This wire, this is it doubled over, this wire used to be connected from here. So this plug used to be really far away. I think it ran around the entire car on the opposite side to the other wiring. So I just got rid of that, because on the actual harness for the car, the 2 plugs you need to connect to are these guys. So that's one, and that's the other. So they're actually right next to each other on this harness. So I'm just going to link them both together basically, and it'll just save a lot of wiring. Well, you know, it saves me putting this sheathing, conduit stuff over, you know, an extra 3 meters or so of wiring. So what we're going to do is I do need them to be separate at the start here, just a little bit, just so I can get them on and off. But after that, it can be doubled up. So what I'm going to do is just figure out, I'm just going to cut 2 lengths, same size. And then, because we're only using 1 plug on this guy, it makes it real easy. Just go around it a little bit with tape. This just stops the actual conduit sliding. And then you just slide the conduit, the cut bit, over the tape. And then you start going around the outside of the conduit. and you just go to the very end. So that's what it will look like, and you just do the same to the other one. Alright, now where they both end, ish, I'm just gonna do the same thing. And we're just going to do that the whole way until it looks all nice. The first section done. As you can see, looks much nicer than all of this. So, just need to do the same thing. Hopefully this can fit in this conduit. Might be a bit more of a struggle to get it in there, but it should fit. Yeah, it fits. So now we just need to keep doing the rest. I might not put the... don't actually know where this ground's going to go yet, because I'm not sure where any of this cable is actually going in the car. So I really temporarily put an end on this, so I might just leave him there, and depending where he goes, I'll route something from there. I also don't know what the point of this is. It's just a connector that has the 4 in, and then it's jumpered to go straight back out. So, like, I think, I have no idea. Maybe it's for different cars. So, but yeah. Probably could just cut this. I'm deciding to get rid of this. There's no point to it. It's probably for a different car. So all I'm going to do is one of these is just a ground, which is this black one. These two guys just need to go together, and that's it. So I'm just going to make it so they're all the same length. So I'm just going to twist these two together. Just like that. There we go, we soldered it up. We're just going to let it cool, and then we're going to wrap it with some electrical tape and then keep going. This guy we're just going to leave how he is, just sticking out of the harness. Hopefully this is kind of near the back, because I have a grounding spot around there because I have a rear battery, so I can just ground it to that or to the seat belt or something. But yeah, we just got to finish doing the rest of it. there we have it. So from the actual bit where it goes outside, we've got our ground. I made it quite long. I figured that this is the amount that I probably need under the car to reach the actual fuel pump. I do need to pull it back out, I need to solder these guys and probably just fix them up a little bit. They were really quick, just trying to getting it done. And then I need to sheath this as well on the outside, and then obviously decide if I want to use this grommet. It's a pretty large hole, that's the only issue. So I might be able to find a smaller one or something, but you know, we'll see. But yeah, the rest of it is all really nice. Nice and factory looking. So we put a Commodore fuel pump into a GQ Patrol. So if it helped you, let me know. Drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, see ya.